whoa, this hangout is live on there. Jeepers, that was exciting. Took us a while today, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 3:57 in the afternoon. We usually do the show at 6:30 a.m.
Wow. Law of averages.
Law of averages. Once
Quite
or twice
possibly.
we've done it at 6:30
Yeah, quite possibly.
Tricky.
It has happened at that time. That's a scheduled event, but life is not a scheduled event.
Be prepared too. It's very exciting news. See this background? Soon it will be different.
It will.
It's very sad news. Very happy and sad at the same time. Vaughan Street. We'll be moving out of Vaughan Street.
Yeah.
And then we'll be moving to Wayne.
About 500 metres that way.
Ooh, it's so far away. It's terrible. No.
And none of the people in the street will ever talk to you again. And they won't let you come to their parties or be part of their Christmas event.
Don't worry, I'll still help them organise it. Then I'll have to be on the invitation list. Only joking, people. You can do whatever you like, but I know you like help us organising things.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
So does it matter?
probably
Well, I
got
think
something to do with.
Yeah. Does it matter where you are?
Does it matter where you are? Is this a trick question?
Mm.
Just to premise the next 45 minutes of discussion or whatever it will be.
Yeah.
This is week 2, permission to rule. If you don't know Melanie Brockwell, the living master, and Louise Moratti, the headless Buddha, we are putting on a 8-week course, which you may well find easy as 1, 2, 3 to attend. And week 2 in the course is permission to rule.
Which keeps going in and out of my head today. And it's something about whatever needs to happen will happen.
Mm.
I'm not meant to remember any of the details for this conversation.
No details for Melanie.
Well,
And
no.
I'm supposed to probably say something where I put my foot in it.
No
And then-
remember details. Okay, because the thing is, most of the time I have some sense of a theme or a summary or a research or whatever, and whatever ends up happening in the conversation is all whatever comes in.
Mm.
But if I've looked at something, it's like before I go to an exam, all I have to do is read through my notes again. I'll remember everything when I get there.
Mm.
But for some reason, doesn't matter if I read the notes on the computer, I printed them out and read them on the paper, and then Louise read them to me again, and still nothing stuck in my head. So for some reason, we don't need them.
And nothing ever starts in my head because I don't have one because I'm the headless Buddha. So there you go. So I'm allowed to be silly as I like a headless chook. Now, permission to rule. I keep saying it out loud because my fear is that when people see that permission to rule, you think, oh, great, they're going to give me the perfect rules so that I can fix up all my mindsets and my affirmations and my core beliefs. And then once I've got all my core beliefs sorted out and I've got it all right and I do it the way these people teach me, yes, I'll be able to manifest what I need, like someone knocking at the door. Ah! Hello? Hey. But I'll let Mel talk about that for a minute.
What am I talking about?
You're right. Hey.
I'm just listening for who it is. I can't really talk about Louise's fears because I don't see them as fears. I don't see anything divided into categories. I see everything as a conversation with the cosmos. So we're just going to have to wait for Louise to have her conversation about what this brings up for her and what this will bring up for you when we get to week 2, when we start talking about the fact that what about the possibility that there are no rules? Because there is this sense of being present, you know, that whole power of now being present, that sense of the universe will take care of itself if we are paying attention. And somehow that is our one focus, but then a whole heap of other priorities come into that. And we start making rules about what it means to be good, to be right, to be fair, to be safe, to be looked after, to be healthy, to be connected, to be a wife, to be a teacher, to be a living master. We start making all these rules about what it means, when really, when we have that experience of being present, there are no rules. It's somewhere we go, oh yeah, that aha moment is, oh yeah, I've been bringing in all these other priorities, which is my choice, and which I've had some amazing experiences with. But coming back into that present moment, there are no rules. There is only that one thing that matters. I just said I can't speak about your fears. I can't talk into that area.
Nah.
That's not my story.
Yes. Mel takes things very literally. Whatever I say, she takes it very literally because she thinks I mean what I say, because she means everything she says, and I don't say whatever comes out.
Yeah.
With no, what's the word? I don't know. I'm not sure the word is. I'd say things for the most entertaining effect, rather than for the most specific data-based.
Yeah, but it's not just about data. I mean, if I explain how I feel, I explain how I feel. I don't, like, I say what I mean. Like, it's not just about being cold. It's about
Being precise.
just saying what I mean. I mean, that's what, for me, that's
But it's
what
about
words
being
are
precise. Like, I just say whatever's going on, like, for me, randomly. Randomly. And I can interchange words that don't have the same meaning, and it doesn't. I'm not sure.
But I wonder if that's because people don't actually know what words mean. I wonder if that's part of it. Because often when I have conversations with people and I use a particular word, I use it because I know what it means. And
Yeah, but I use a word because it means something to the person. I think, like, I was just thinking about, you know, the poetry and that, how the language that comes out of me isn't my language, but it means something to that person.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, the difference between when we work with people one-on-one and we're going through their reality. We use their language. We don't make it about being present. We don't make it about the things that are on this course. But on this course, we're making it about those things, which is a very different experience to being with someone in a session where they just take you and you intuitively expand into that area and do whatever you're told to. But taking someone through an experience so that they can experience a particular cosmology requires specificity. There is a certain sense of what it means, and a lot of our experience is based on those cultural meanings which are shared through the words that we use.
And I guess that was the thing, like I was talking about at the beginning, where I prefaced it with what I fear is. Because for me, this is a journey that I've walked through to try and understand that cosmology. I don't live in it. I've never lived in it. I'm trying to understand it and have an experience of how you operate from that cosmology all the time when I haven't, when I've been in duality, when I've been in right and wrong, good and bad, whatever. And what I was saying about the rule thing was the fact that, you know, I came to this course thinking that I would get some new rules or some new perspective, some new paradigm to look at the world through, which if I got it right would give me peace, happiness, love, understanding, whatever the, you know, the desired outcome was.
Prosperity.
But then it's not like that. And so even when I'm trying to help people understand what it means to stand in that sovereignty, to stand in that you're perfect how you are,
even if you're in duality.
Even if you're in duality, even if you're saying the wrong word, even if you're doing whatever, there's a sense that, I don't know, because I think this might help people, just that sense that, like the other day I was going, okay, so it doesn't matter what happens now. I am who I am, right? And I am who I am right now. Wherever I am, doesn't matter if the money's come in, the money hasn't come in, the lover's come in, the lover hasn't come in, you've got the job, you haven't got the job, whatever things you put on your list that if you got them right, you could be happy. It doesn't matter. None of those things matter. It doesn't matter if you're loved or not loved. It doesn't matter if your parents sent you the Christmas card or they didn't, or, you know, whatever the thing is that makes you go, if only that could be different. You know, if only this morning when I got up, I felt a bit more enthusiastic about life. If only, I don't know, like it was just this sudden sense of nothing is going to change me. Here I am, me, exactly as I am. And no matter what I'm going for, it's not going to make one scrap of difference. Like, it doesn't matter what you go for, what you do, where you go, how you do it. It actually isn't going to change. And I go where you're sitting inside yourself, which Mel may want to clarify that more, but I just go where you're sitting inside yourself. You know, when you get in the car, and we've been talking a bit about transitions as well, because for me, there does seem to be, for a lot of people, this sense of that there's transitions, and in those gaps they can have a break, they can reflect, they can drop all the personas and be a bit more of themselves, they can realign their paradigm, they can question themselves about what just happened, they can, you know, but there is that sense of that getting in the car and sitting in the car or wherever it is right now here. It doesn't have to be one of those transitions because they don't make any difference anyway, but that sense of wherever you are, you're there, and that's it. It doesn't matter what it looks like, what, I don't know. I can't explain it any better, because it's like the Christmas tree's got all the decorations on it, but in the end you take them all off and it's still the Christmas tree. Yeah.
But I come back to so there's two things. Well, one of them is the saying what you mean thing. If I say what I mean and you don't say what you mean, what does it matter? Like, either way, whatever the thing you're doing it for a reason. And whatever beliefs are behind that reason are backing you up 100%. And you're getting what you want, and you're having the experience of being your divine identity in the language that makes sense to you at the moment. And if you want to have a different experience, if you want to stand in a different place where that makes sense in a different way, if you want to tell a different story about why that is or isn't important, you know, so even in that, it's like, okay, so I don't say what I mean. What do I do? Because what you don't do isn't important. What you do is important. Like, all of the things that define who you are not the things that you don't do or can't have or haven't figured out. They're not the things that define you. The things that define you are the things that you do know, that you can understand, that you do feel, that you have got, that you do want. Like, they are the things that define you. And that sense of transition is all in the things that you don't have, that you can't be, that you haven't learned, that isn't here. So there's no such thing as transition. I mean, even there's this fantastic story about this Buddhist, what do they call them? Not officer. There's a word for what they do. Anyway, so whatever their level of expertise is, so this Buddhist person was a woman in a man's body, and their superior said, you don't need to do any physical transformation in order to resolve this issue. This is all internal, you just need insight. And so they did this whole Dharma session and went, you know, months and months and had this meditative experience that led them to understand that they needed to go and have the operation. And, you know, so they changed their body to match their identity. But the point for me when I was reading the story that it felt like was more important than any of that was a sense that there is no transition. So even as the person is discovering that they are a woman in a man's body, it is not a journey towards being who they really are. In that moment, even as they make the decision that they're going to go and seek out the operation and have a gender change, that's not a waiting for something else to happen. The decision is the decision, The act is the act. The operation is the operation. The feeling is the feeling. The message is the message. You can't be outside of what's going on. So there's no transition. And each one of those points is perfect and whole. And I mean, somewhere it's expert in itself. It cannot be improved upon. If it was meant to be improved upon, it wouldn't be what it was. It would be something else. Like, there's no sense of, like, even in that intuitive message that you get, if the message says, don't catch this bus, the message is not about an outcome. The message is the message. Whether you listen to it or not, whether you know, however you feel about what that message is, the point is the message is the message.
And I just got the thing of playing in the moment too, because
Yeah.
I'm sure all of you have had a crazy week of experiences where you've been playing with that very thing, and what it meant to you, who knows? But I do get it. I do remember, and I do know that, you know, when you start playing in things, you know, there is a very, I don't know, it's that strange thing of going, yes, I'm playing this, I'm messing around, I'm just having fun. It didn't turn out how I wanted it to. Why did it turn out? I was playing how they said I should be playing. If only I played a little bit harder, then maybe I would have got the outcome I wanted. So I think there's probably quite a few people out there who've had some experiences this week of really recognising where they're not playing in the moment, sort of thing. Recognising where they're looking for the outcome.
Yeah.
And so what I was saying at the beginning too about the rules thing, because this is very much about sovereignty in the sense of you are, you are the ruler in this moment. What you are doing is perfectly right. It's the correct decision. It's exceptionally, whatever you're feeling, whatever's going on.
Yeah. It's happening for a reason.
You rule. You rule. You're in the rocking it. You're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And even if you are going, oh, I wish I had an outcome, you're having that experience because it serves you somewhere.
But it's happening for a reason. And I still go, it's not going to serve you in an outcome. It's not going to serve you at a later date. It's not like one of those investment things. If I suffer through this now, I'll be in a better place later. Like, whatever that serving you thing is, it's serving you now.
And that very much comes into that sense that we have, a lot of us. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it seems to be in a lot of things, is that sense that we suffer to improve, and that learning has to be a challenge. Like, there has to be a hurdle to overcome.
Yeah.
We have to, if we don't, you know, if we don't grin and bear the pain, we won't get the lesson, sort of thing.
That's the materialist Darwin duality, reality. That's where those ideas of from simpler to more complex, from lesser to more, from ignorant to wise. That's where those ideas come from. Whereas this idea of a oneness universe, of every moment being sacred, is all the wisdom that you need access to, you have access to right now, and all the feelings that are coming up for a reason. And it's your conversation with the cosmos. There's no other explanation.
And for some reason, I just want to throw out there too, because I know when I was doing, we're all doing our own way of looking at this, whatever it is. We've all got our own viewpoints and our own core beliefs and our own rules and regulations about how we view the world. And I know very much for a long time being an activist and wanting things to be different and change. And then kind of coming at it from a different angle and going, well, I want to look at this differently. I do want to look like, I do believe that everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. I do believe that everyone is wanting to be loving, look after their families, like they're just trying to make it safe in their environment, to keep things, to get food on the table, to handle everything in their sphere of responsibility. I do feel like most people are doing their best to do that. And so then it was like, okay, so what new story am I going to come up with? If that story doesn't work anymore, that we're all out there trying to fix things and make everyone better. And so then the evolution story comes in, and that's a great story, evolution. We're still all going to get better. We're still all going to improve. It's going to be fabulous. If we just evolve our consciousness, we'll be able to fix the oceans, and we'll be able to fix the planet, we'll be able to have peace, and we'll be able to have a new paradigm. It'll be fabulous. But then it's like, Well, then that, like there's still that whole huge sense of making everyone else who's not on that wavelength wrong.
Yeah.
And you're then looking at other people and going, well, if you don't get that, then there's something wrong with you, which is, very much whatever's playing out on the planet at the moment is there's a lot of people looking around at each other and going, your worldview is not the same as mine. I don't like it. I don't want it to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
that makes me think about whoever needs love. What is it? Whoever's hardest to love needs love the most.
Yeah.
It feels like the alternative to that making people wrong is if there's something that they're doing that you can't figure out the universal reason. If you just go, I can't see the divine in that. Where is the I'm doing the best I can with what I have in that? That's where that seek to understand comes in. Because it's the same as, if someone commits a violent crime or whatever, it's like nothing happens in a vacuum. What's going on in that situation? Why, what's happening for them and for the other person that was involved, that you can be in the same room with both of those people and be tuned to what they need to feel loved, both of them at the same time, without making anyone right, wrong, or incomplete. I mean,
and again, without making yourself right, wrong, or incomplete.
Yeah.
If you can't love them, if you aren't angry at things or people or whatever's going on around you
but you're not angry
lighting up for you.
If you're angry,
if it feels like you are angry at,
yeah, but you're not. I think that's what it comes back to. If you're angry, there's an instant realization that you go, yeah, I'm angry, but I know it's not at or about anything because I take responsibility for my emotions. There's something in that conversation with the cosmos in that moment with those emotions that are bubbling to the surface. And that's where that ability to be with people comes in, is that sense of, yeah, I'm angry. I don't have to deny it. I don't have to make myself happy. I don't have to make myself even keeled. But I do have to stop it from turning into a story about what other people are doing because I don't have access to all the information. I am not the divine mind. I can't tell you exactly what's happening because I don't have access to all the information. I have access to what I need right now. I don't know, there's a surrender in that.
And I just get a sense, like I get a feel like there's a lot of people out there right now really angry, like, and maybe even for a lot of people it feels like that's not the level of the conversation they're looking at. They're fighting the battle on some other level, but they're really angry at the way things are in the world. There's a heap of anger that feels like it's percolating around the place.
Yeah, and if people tell themselves a story that it's about something, then they live in separation. And I
do feel like it's to address it though, because I go, there's people going around with placards going, this is about something else. This is about freedom of speech, or this is about something else that I really want to stand up and have my say about. But they're really angry about other things and feeling, and I don't know, it feels like the whammy's out.
So there's three different. So the one is the being with people in session and letting them have their experience they're angry at. The ones who do the course are standing in a particular experience of reality, and they know that anger is real and they're not trying to herd it into something else. And they're not using it as a motivation, because the only motivation is what your present-centered intuitive guidance tells you to do. You don't need a kick up the butt or a reward carrot at the end of the tunnel to put you into action. Action is in every moment. You are intuitively guided in every second of your existence. There's no need for you to have a sense of punishment or reward, global disaster or global peace to motivate you to be who you are. Who you are is in this moment right now. And then there's the other side is you still do what you do. You still run that business that provides refuges for women in domestic violence. You still rescue the dogs from being
you still may need to walk down the street with placards, but
but you do it in a way knowing that it's not about being angry at. You know that the anger is there and it's your conversation with the cosmos. So the things don't, you don't shut down the way that you operate. You just understand it in a way that doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't exhaust you. It doesn't give you a sense that you need to do something before you're complete. So even, you know, if you're doing something that your intuition tells you to do and you don't have an outcome, like you don't have a sense of how is it working in the world, I can't see any results, that's exhausting, that's frustrating. It makes you, you know, do all kinds of things and believe all kinds of stuff about the world that changes your relationship with yourself, you know, with your concept of source. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that occurs in that perception. But if you're able to do what your intuition tells you and know that it's telling you that for a reason, despite what the physical evidence tells you, because you know that there's a whole heap of information that's not accessible. You know that there's a whole heap of stuff that's occurring that you can't see. And that's for a reason. It's not that you're being cut out. You know, that's because you need to focus on that one thing that matters. And that one thing that matters is you being tuned to who you are right now. And it just kind of simplifies the whole thing. And it doesn't ask you to step back from anything that you're doing. But it does allow you to live without rules. Because you know in every moment, whatever your guidance is telling you or whatever emotion is coming up, there's no one rule that can help you navigate that. You have to improvise, you know, and the only anchors you have are, I know there's only one thing that matters. I know that there's all things unreasonable. I mean, they're your only anchors. And then, I don't know, then there's the questions that kind of, if you need to have a cognitive sense of what's happening, you can do that. Or you can turn to oils and use oils to have a sense of, you know, how can I be in this space? How can I be with this experience?
And it very much comes back to you are the living master. You are the wisest person in your world.
Yeah.
And the things that you, I don't know, are just going to power off will be right there in front of you, lighting up.
The loudest point.
The loudest point. And if the loudest point does look like upset or distress or something that in the past you would have gone, I want to push that away, I need to change that, then there's something in there. There's a delight and a wonder to be found in that loudest point, whatever it looks like.
And I think anyone who's had an experience of surrender know that it's a really beautiful thing. So even in that moment of being angry or whatever it is that you would otherwise want to run away from.
Can I just give a demonstration?
Yeah.
I've surrendered so many times. I'm sick of surrendering. I surrendered once before in 1954. Why isn't I still surrendered now? How come I still have to keep, why do these things keep coming in my face to surrender? There's an example of someone upset about something, and it's the funniest thing because it's that sense of surrender as well. I'm not sure where Mel was going to take it, but that sense of, I've surrendered once. I don't want to have to do it again now.
Yeah.
I thought we'd finish with that surrender business.
But it's liberating. There is a freedom, and that's where the no rules comes in. It is liberating to know that you are divine, and there is always a reason. I mean, coming back to that point is liberating. It's that sense of knowing that you don't have control. There's no trick or trade that you can make that will bring about the conditions that you think you need, because the plan is so beyond what you could possibly imagine.
But if I just surrender, you said if I gave myself permission to play this week and I did it properly, I would get what I want. Isn't that what you said?
No.
Oh, damn.
You're always getting what you
Shit,
want.
damn. Damn. I swear to God, she said if we played properly, we would get what we wanted.
But you're always getting what you want. I think it's that. How can you see that you're always getting it? And that's another fire up point. And if it's a fire up point, that's your loudest point, you know, and surrender into that loudest point. And sometimes the loudest point is the softer space, because Well, I'm just going to say there's sometimes, like I know as an empath, you feel incredibly sensitive and the world is very raw. But even in that, like what I figured was, okay, so if it's all like that and there's this one point that's really soft, that's where I'm going to focus. And if the world is really soft and there's one point that's like scritchy or whatever, that's where we focus. And at each point we are surrendering to that point, whatever that contrast is, or however you want to look at it. I'm not sure. It's a thing that lights up, but the thing that lights up is not always.
And so if there's people out there going,
Ah!
you tell me it's all happening for a reason for me, what the hell do you mean? Why didn't my bills aren't paid for a reason, and that person got sicker, and I've been helping everyone all summer, and I've been doing it, and I played properly, and I did the course, I've done everything I can this week to make sure that everything's going right for somebody, and it doesn't appear to be going right for anybody. You're saying that there'll be one soft point in there that they can find to focus on?
Because it's a story. I'm talking about the feelings.
See, people, it doesn't matter where you try and grab for a rule. You'll never find one. You'll never find a rule that you can make hard and fast. And even the questions like, how does that serve you? Or whatever the question is.
Yeah, but if I say to you, is that true? That diatribe, is that true?
Yeah, it feels true at the time. I'm just saying at the
but
time.
Now, like right now, like if you drop
right now for
is
me,
that true?
But I know
there's for anyone.
No, but I'm just saying, true? Yes, it feels true for you. When you come home and it feels like everything's piled up, it feels true. The feelings feel overwhelmingly true at the time because they've taken over. They've become a giant monster and they're all over you.
Yeah, but I guess I'm asking if it's true. I'm not saying do the feelings exist? Because the feelings exist regardless. It's the story you tell which allows them to just move like a wave of music. And you know that they're happening for a reason and you don't need to make sense of it. I think it's the trying to make sense of it and the trying to control it and the trying to make it something it's not and the trying to appear you're on top of it and the trying to, I don't know.
General trying.
The general trying. You know, there is a sense of whatever comes in, it's all that trying that makes it unbearable.
Unbearable. Makes me tired just thinking about that unbearable nature of life.
Trying.
I might go to bed.
Okay.
No, I was only joking.
Yes. But I think it is to go, well, is that true? Like all the feelings, they're just moving. They're never actually going to stop. Is that true? Do you need a rule? Is that true?
And so I guess then that just comes back to your intuition again.
Yes.
If suddenly you go, oh, I do feel tired, the unbearable nature of life is killing me and I want to go to bed and sleep, that may well be that may well be do exactly what you need to be doing.
Yes.
To be doing.
Absolutely.
But it also may be just you going off on a tangent somewhere.
Of what?
Well,
a tangent.
It's a tangent.
But if it's an intuitive feeling, it's an intuitive feeling. If it's not an intuitive feeling, then it's not an intuitive feeling.
But like we said, even if you feel like you're trying, and it's like, what do I need to do now? I need to go to bed to have a rest. That's what I need to do. And it's like you're trying, and you end up doing it. It's the right thing to do. It's not like you've made a mistake in going off on a tangent and you've got it wrong. It's like whatever's there is there for a reason.
I would still say there's no right thing to do because there's no wrong thing to do. Like I would still insist on that specificity because I think if we start saying it was the right thing to do, then, you know, the question comes in, is it right to do all the horrible things that happen on the earth? You know, like, and it's not that it's right. It's just that it's right and it's not right and it's not wrong. Like there is a sense that whatever that judgment is needs to be taken out before anything can really be tuned to, because it's that story that takes you out of the sense that everything is moving and that everything happens for a reason and you don't need to make sense of it. You just need to be present.
And so then even in that sense of ruling, having permission to rule, to know that you are
to know that there are no rules.
Sovereign ruler who makes the rules as you go along.
Yeah, but that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that you are the sovereign ruler that makes the rules as you go along. We're saying that you are in a world where there are no rules.
And I think when people are in week 2 of the course,
Yeah.
they are grasping for rules.
Yeah.
Somewhere when someone says to you, you can operate from no rules. There's no story. There's nothing to latch onto.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a purpose. You don't really have to have a mission. You just have to be. You will be like going, but what does that mean? I want something to latch onto. Like for a lot of people.
You do have a purpose and a mission. You mean you don't have to know what it is?
Well, and you don't have to
work
I mean,
towards it.
I think for a long time my identity was just based on the fact that I was on a mission. You
Yeah.
know, like I had a purpose, and it was like, as long as I'm on purpose, as long as I'm getting the results in my purpose,
Yeah.
as long as it, you know, it looks right, I'm on track. As long as I've got someone to argue with about the wrong side of the right side,
Yeah.
you know, like it is that sense of it has to make someone wrong for you to be right. It's like, it's almost like unless you're powering along there and making the changes you want to see made,
Yeah.
and in that you're steamrolling a whole lot of experiences, connections, whatever, but you're just steamrolling through the day and missing the moments, missing the magic, missing yourself. Like it's like you're missing yourself somewhere because you're just
Well, it's your life
trying to get
somewhere else.
a purpose, trying to get a purpose right.
Yeah.
Trying to get your identity to match, you know, who you think, you know, like if I could just be like Mother Teresa or, you know, whoever it is who's the poster girl for your cause.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if I could just be like her, then everything would be all right.
Mm.
And you're never going to be because you're not her crazy kind of her. You're your crazy kind of you.
Yeah. And that's your purpose. Your purpose is to be you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, yeah, it is. It feels like it's hard for people to get their heads around the fact that they're not separate, that they're not something that you do, that it's something that you are. You know, and that the rules are about surrendering in that moment to who you are, and that whatever, like we say, whatever configuration of crazy you are is perfect for your mission. So whatever comes up for you is that sense of what you need to be tuned to. It just feels like a very different modus operandi.
And on that note, I'm going to get my smartphone because it's very smart.
You gonna read the thing?
And I'm going to read to you off our website. This is the Miracles and
Okay.
Wonder
You have it.
Perfect Present
Wow.
website, but I want to show them the picture.
I
Oh,
can't see
hang
it.
on. There it is. There it is. The perfect present. Do you really trust your intuition? And when we go down, we scroll down, scroll down. Look at that nice picture Mel's made. It's lovely. It says the perfect present week 2. Permission to rule. This week is an introduction to the nature of aeroplanes.
We've had a few today.
Ooh, and in our new house we'll have them as well. We're right onto the runway over there. It's going to be fab. Anyway, back to this. Permission to rule. This week is an introduction to the nature of perception. It's a dip into the ocean of what makes us real. Dun, 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 dun. Instead of making yet another set of rules for your life, this is an opportunity to expose the illusory nature of sensory experience, a way to see through the eyes of your divine identity. Can you tell us something more about that? The illusory nature of sensory experience. What do you mean by that? It's real. It's all around us, girlfriend. Look, if I pinch you,
That's because your senses
you
tell you
shake
that
your
it's real.
head. You shake your head and go, Louise.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that's what you see. I mean, how long do you have for me to explain how your senses work? Because ultimately, you're talking about the layers of reality, like how it depends how far in you get, but you end up talking about the what do they call them? The fields. So the photonic field and the electronic field and all those other fields that create reality and the excitation of the field. That's the stuff that we were talking about the other day.
okay, let's go back to the poetry now.
So, but that's ultimately what you get back to, is that everything exists at the same time and that the excitation of the field creates reality. We sense our reality individually through senses, but they're not even through senses in a world that exists. They're through senses that our senses create. So it's not even an objective subjective. There's no such thing as an objective. There is only the subjective. Do I need to say what that means?
So that is the illusory nature of these senses.
Yes. I mean, we can have great philosophical conversations about how that operates.
And we can have great fun in it.
Yeah.
Great fun.
But I think the thing that comes up for me when I talk about that is even when you get down to the closer biological explanation, where you're saying here is a physical reality and I can measure it.
Yeah.
There is the first impulse is in the heart, the second impulse is the whole brain, and the third impulse is the discrete centers of the brain which become active. So even when you're talking about light through the eyes going into the different parts of the brain that end up creating the images that we see, which are not a true reflection of what exists outside, what we think is outside of us, we're still talking about the fact that the impulse is first in our heart, and then there's a whole brain light up, and then there are particular parts of your brain. So even in that purely materialistic biological explanation of the universe, it all starts in this center.
And with an open heart, the rules of life change forever.
Forever, people. I'm not going to do what's hot.
With an open heart, we can meet people where they are most sacred. Sacred.
Sacred.
They are most sacred. Sacred. We learn to be in, but not of, the world, a space that precludes us from passing judgment on others just long enough to see their true beauty. Oh, look at that little flower. Isn't she cute?
So that is the hardest people to love are the ones that need love the most. Precluding us from passing judgment just long enough to see that they are perfectly designed for their mission.
Perfectly designed for their mission.
Which is an interesting
to light something up for us.
For some people.
Yes. Light it up for us.
Yes.
This week is about living in the moment and intuiting the rules that keep us in that divinely held space. Perhaps you will do a review of how old rules have served you. Perhaps you're leaning close to the nature of all that is and hear the echo of what sustains you. However it manifests, this week you are stepping into your power as an aspect of the benevolent universe to serve each moment from your heart's deepest desire. And I think it's important to highlight a review of how the old rules have served you. So if you have been living in some rule-based world where it's like, oh yes, I'm an activist, or yes, I believe in evolution, or yes, whatever it is, the rules that you put on yourself, and even if the rules are just, I'm going to be good, I'm going to be good.
Yeah.
How does that serve you to be so good?
And that can be tricky to kind of unpick. Like, it's tricky to figure out where you need to stand in order for that to become clear. And that's what the Course helps with, is, we can show you where standing in a new place to understand, to figure out how it serves you makes all the difference. And it's not that we give you any answers that you don't have yourself, but it is a position that you've probably never stood in before, which is why it's a new cosmology. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a new cosmology.
God, it's taken me like about a year to realise that I'm still saying, how was your day? Good.
But that's okay. But that's not.
No, but it is. It is, and it's not. Like, I really noticed it lately, and I really noticed it today.
Yeah.
That I said, and I said it to someone, and it was like, it did suddenly go.
Yeah.
The repercussions of saying good. There's a whole lot of judgments. There's a whole lot of expectations. There's a whole lot of things that if I just go, yeah, my day was good. It's just interesting. That's what's been lighting up for me. That's all I'm saying.
So I think one of the things to point out, and that's perfect, is to say that when that stuff comes in and you go, oh, look, there I am saying good. Like, this course is not about going, right, I need to get rid of that, count how many times you did it and flick the elastic band or put money in a jar and make sure that doesn't happen again. Like, it's not that cognitive behavioral stuff. We're not saying that anything is right, wrong, or incomplete. It's not that you haven't learnt it yet. It's not that you need to do it differently. It's like, okay, that came into your consciousness. What does that mean for you? What does it mean for you when you become conscious of using the word good and all of the consequences that come in with that? And it's that permission to explore what that means for you that's very different to the other courses you'll do that give you rules, because they will say, easy, do this, don't do that. Think this, don't think that. You know, like you're given parameters which make it easy to modify who you are or how you're doing it. Whereas this is very much about, okay, this is what's coming up for you. You are a divine identity. Something is coming up for you for a reason. It's not to make you wrong and it's not to make you right. So what is it? And it kind of opens you up to a conversation that you've never had before.
And for me, like when you say it like that, in many ways, it is that other conversation I just had before about I'm an activist and I'm good.
Yeah.
Or I'm a whatever and I'm good. You know, I'm doing my purpose, I'm on track. And it's like ticking off the days. Today was a good day. Yes.
Yeah.
I was on my mission. I'm a good person. I'm lovable. I deserve to be looked after by the planet.
Yeah.
I deserve to have food in the cupboard. I deserve,
yeah,
you know, the things that people get when they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it is just like a hangover from debating with myself about whether I've been good or bad. And it's just interesting because it's a throwaway word.
Mm.
And it is, you know, it's in response to other people, but it's for me to just have another look at it from a different angle for myself, not anything else. You know, even the other night we were talking about all living together again, and, you know, I don't eat meat and they eat meat. And we were having that conversation about, well, you know, how does it serve you? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I went, well, I don't know why, but I just never liked it.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly went, because you've got all that rotten, stale meat sitting there and everyone not saying what they mean, you know? And suddenly I was just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know, where it felt like tea time was quite a chore and no one was actually, and for me, it was the time when we were all there to come together, but no one actually said what they meant.
Yeah.
You know, like no one was actually saying how they were feeling, and it's still a hangover for me that I've never unraveled somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it just took me coming into the conversation from a different place.
And even that sense of being a hangover, like I still go, it's not a push, it's a pull. Like there's a sense that it's an invitation for you to go, hey, what I really want and what's really important to me is to be able to sit at the dinner table and share our feelings. And that's important to me. And somewhere, or it could be that all that stuff that you felt that comes up with that imagery, because the universe is just going, here's some feelings, here's some feelings, here's some feelings, here's a picture, here's some feelings, here's some feelings, here's a picture, you know, here's a story.
So then I'm going, all right, so because I'm still going to, I'm still struggling. How do you look at it?
As an invitation.
I mean, even pull that apart more, because what does that mean? Because I go, I will look at everything as an opportunity to improve.
Yeah.
I will look at everything that comes up, like that was the prime example, as how do I solve a problem from the past?
Yeah.
This is a hangover from a problem from the past, and I've just had a revelation. And in that revelation, for me, it doesn't look like an invitation. It looks like a aha moment where I go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
That's why I still behave like that, because it happened like that, and now I still, you know, there's a leak in the ink pad and that stain's still blighting my life.
But if it makes you right, wrong, or incomplete, it's not the truth. That's so. If you have an aha moment, you have an aha moment. But then look at the story that you tell about that, and if it makes you right, wrong, or incomplete, it's not the truth. Because Source will never tell you that you're bad, that you've done it wrong. Angels will never come to you and want you to do it differently or pay penance for the things that you've done. The Ascended Masters don't look at you and say, geez, I wish they'd hurry up. They're taking a long time to get it, aren't they? None of those perspectives, none of those relationships that you have are judgmental. None of them think that you need to be somewhere that you're not. None of them think that you need to be doing it differently or that you should have done it differently in the past. None of them think that you need to unravel something or that you need to pay penance for something. None of them look at you like that. And it's time that we start living in a space where we don't look at ourselves like that and each other. And that's what this new cosmology is about, being able to walk around in that perspective. I mean, you can call it Christ consciousness, you can call it Buddha consciousness, you can call it whatever you want, you know, but all of those terms have been kind of hijacked by other systems that are still in that reward
And it's funny too,
basis.
because I was thinking, you know, even in that first paragraph where we're saying about a way to see through the eyes of your divine identity, I was thinking, and what about if your identity is I was going to not sadist, but you know, like is punishing the bad, you know, like if you feel like your divine identity.
But they're your labels.
I'm just saying, you know, like from that sense of where you're saying, you know, the divine never does this, the ascended masters never do.
Yeah.
But if we have an aspect in ourselves where we think, you know, the divine is our parent berating us, or, you know, our divine aspect
But that's
is.
a story.
Yeah.
That's not your identity. That's a story that you're telling about. That's an explanation that you have about what's happening. So that's your explanation for an event. I can walk into a room and you can walk into a room and my explanation will be completely different to yours. Like not you, like two people. You know, like there's a sense of what those things mean. You know, even I mean, we'll get to this in the course about all of your idiosyncrasies and how they are perfect. However you were defined, like this, however you are configured is perfect. So if you have an aspect that's, I don't know, loud and whatever, I don't know what aspect, I don't really know.
That reminds me, if the fairy godmother thing is up there yet?
Yes, we can post the URL in the comments maybe.
Yeah, there's a free giveaway. Join our mailing list, be on the free giveaway so that we can then notify you too if you want to be a part of anything.
Yeah.
And the fairy godmother's code will very much, if you're the kind of person like me who keeps asking the questions and keeps wanting more information, that's a really good free resource that we've got for you to access.
So that's got the PDF with heaps of great things in there, plus that long conversation that we had about the nature of separation and divine identity. Because I think I mean that's why we do it for 8 weeks, and even then, like, we've got the mentorship because the 8 weeks is your introduction. It's giving you the bones of a new cosmology. You can't expect a new cosmology to be something, I mean, and even then I just go, no, that's not true, because someone can just read it and it's true for them and they know it and they do it, and it's not something you learn. Like, it, you know, whatever experience you need to have in those 8 weeks, you're going to have. It's not about the outcome at the end. You know, there's got to be some part of you that says, hit that buy button. There has to be some part of you that says, I want to have that experience. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm not sure about having no rules. And who the hell are these two ladies that keep babbling about stuff that doesn't make sense? But I can feel there's a pull. And it's about the pull, not push.
And so in your pull this week, what rules have you made to be good instead of sacred? I just want to say it like that. Sacred. It makes me feel like I'm a wise
Frenchman.
No. Grasshopper. A wise. Like,
Right, okay.
Oh, sacred grasshopper.
Sensei.
Eating the basil in the garden is delicious.
Yeah.
I am living myself as I am. Oh my God. What are my senses activated? Boing, boing, boing. Oh. Anyway, what rules have you made to be good instead of sacred? Where is it more important to be right than connected? It is wrong of me to eat this basil. Oh, silly me. I should not be eating the basil. The girl will step on me. Oh, my goodness. I am connected to this basil. Hold on. I am connected to this foot. Oh, it is squishing me. Oh, well. Life goes on. Anyway. All right. Where is it more important to be right than connected? And if these questions I'm asking you, if you feel like you're going, ding, that's very exciting, go to the Miracles and Wonders Down Under.com page and have a look at the Perfect Present outline. Because, you know, if you're just going, oh, I can't, it's interesting, but I'm not sure what to do with it right now, you can be reading through these questions each week and playing however you want to play with these ideas.
Yeah.
And if you go, hey, I want to hang out in your new lounge room, there's mentorships and all kinds of things you can tap into. But for now, where is it more important to be right than connected? Who decides when you are permitted to feel and when it is wiser to shut down what's really going on for you? If it was left up to you, what would the rules be and how would you know they were working? And wherever you can, give yourself permission to have no rules, to be the ruler of your rulerless kingdom.
Yep.
Throw out the rulers. As we're cleaning out the house, I'm throwing out a lot of things, but I did not throw out the rulers.
Yes. I know. I just think maybe take a breath, because there's a lot of information, and I don't know, there's a lot of experiences and mental pictures and
mental pictures.
So yeah, just take a breath, because I think that even that idea of sovereignty is really just about there is no task. It is just take a breath.
I love the way you can do your hair while you've been here on this show.
You can see your face.
We can see our faces. You can see our faces too.
Yeah.
Which is the beauty of this. But we can't see your faces. But there's the possibility that if you were ever part of our community or in any of our stuff, you would definitely be able to see our face. And we look forward to that. And
I'm so excited. That part, I think the live call is the thing I'm most excited about.
And also, I'm still going to give good old Kenny Boy a plug.
Yeah.
Because we're going to the Embodied Messenger experience in Colorado in
You want to go like this?
February.
I don't know why.
Because it's going to be cold and you're going to have to keep your cheeks warm.
There you go.
See? That's why I got my snow boots out to air them out the other day.
Oh,
Woo! Anyway,
I saw
I'm
them at the
excited.
door.
Yeah, so if you want to find out more about that Embodied Messenger experience, check out Ken's website, and we'll be in Colorado. So if you're somewhere between Colorado and Chicago in March, you might see us.
So kenstone.com.
Soul archaeologist.
What's the .com? I don't know.
I don't know, but if you just put in Ken Stone Soul Archaeologist Embodied
Yeah.
Messenger experience, you get 100 things come up, and
Yeah.
it's the live one. The virtual ones are over. You had a 4-day thing, but the live 3-day thing in Colorado is the gig we are going
And he's
to.
generously allowed us to use the Divine Connecting Breath in our 8-week course. You'll also get access to his calming DJ voice.
And his lack of aeroplanes and his very good sound.
Yeah, because he's a technician, isn't he?
He's a sound guy. He's
Yeah.
many things. He's a magical